Well, as we focus on water infrastructure maintenance and various other issues in our country, one of the biggest ones being scarcity, Israel has gone from being a water-scarce country to actually having surplus water. There's a lot of lessons that we can learn from experts from over there. We'll discuss best practice and what we can learn from them. It's a huge pleasure to welcome onto South Africa tonight, along with us here in Studio 1, Yechezkel Lifshitz, chairperson and director general of the Government Authority for Water and Sewage in Israel. And on my far right, Dr. Yonatan Bar Yosef, an ecologist and water expert. To both of you, a very good evening. Thank you very much for coming in. You're just here for a short time, I understand. Yechezkel, let me just start with you first of all, if I may. And Doctor, I'll ask you the same question. How did Israel go from water scarcity to water surplus?
So first, I must tell that we are meeting many people here, and we see that everyone is obligated to solve the problems, solve the challenges that South Africa and Johannesburg is facing. Israel is well known in the world of facing water scarcity and handling water scarcity. Why is that? It's only because we have the experience, the knowledge, because we have many, many years of experience of facing water scarcity. Israel has been handling water scarcity since it got independence in 1948, and we are here to share their experience and to share our knowledge with different countries now in South Africa, what we gained in the last few decades. So I would say few reasons or few obstacles that we can share with the South African country. First, education. In Israel, education for saving water is very important. Every child in kindergarten, in school, is taught how to save water. This is very important. It becomes the DNA. It becomes one part of your life to save water. So this is the first issue. The other one is desalination. In Israel, we desalinate about 70% of the water consumption for the domestic sector. We have 5 desalination plants owned by the private sector. There is a strong cooperation between the private sector and the government. We have many PPP projects in Israel. So this is the second thing. We need to rely on desalination because of the droughts, because of the forecast for the water crisis, for the climate crisis, climate change. The forecast is for the next few decades, the amount of water will decline rapidly in the coming 30 to 40 years.
So clearly you've identified the problem now, the education, the infrastructure, the desalination plants as well. Very, very important. We're going to get to that in a moment. Doctor, good evening. Allow me to come to you if you don't mind. Give me your sense. You've now been here for a few days in Johannesburg and in South Africa. How bad is our situation if you compare it to Israel a couple of years ago?
Well, I don't really know how bad is the situation because we've been here only for 2 days, but I can say that from my opinion, what I've seen is first you have to separate the wastewater, even the treated wastewater, from the drinking water. If you treat the wastewater in some level and then you flow it back to the reservoir, to the drinking water reservoir, so actually it's a big problem. In Israel, it's a different 2 systems for the wastewater the treated wastewater that goes for agriculture, and a different system for drinking water. You cannot mix them together.
I want to ask you how we're going to get to the infrastructure of that, because we have many infrastructure problems in our country, Doctor. I'm going to come back to you on that. Yechezkel, let me come to you on the governance side of this because of your position, the Director General for the Government Authority for Water and Sewage. How key is functioning and maintained infrastructure to get this right? Here in South Africa, we've got huge issues with infrastructure. It's completely ruined, or it's on its state to being ruined. That's key, I imagine, in your mind.
Well, first in Israel, at the beginning of the year 2000, and between actually the year 2000 2005, we had a very severe drought, water scarcity. There were problems with water issues. What we did is we used the crisis as a way to find a solution. That's why we built the Water Authority. It's not it's independent. It sets the tariff, it sets the standards, and it's not politically related to any party. So once you build a professional body, one place that takes all the decisions, sets the standards, sets the tariffs, all the regulation in the water sector, treat the water sector as an holistic approach, I think this can be maybe a solution to the challenges that you are facing. What the people we met here, we told them all the time that Israel has a lot of experience. It's not that you are smarter than everyone, just we are well experienced, because what you are facing now are the problems we faced in the last few decades. So what I offer you is to use this crisis and think of ways to get out of this crisis, to manage the water in a holistic way, and to make it professional.
Doctor, I'm curious to ask your question on what was being mentioned, for example, climate change. We've had severe, and for us in South Africa, extreme weather the past few days. Just today we had snow, that's just because of a cold front, but we've had flooding, we've had fires. So we are a country that cannot deny climate change. How difficult is it for you, perhaps back home in Israel, to convince people, as a doctor, of the reality of climate change? I still get the sense a lot of people don't think it's real.
Well, in Israel, like here, you don't have to convince people because they see it in their eyes. You can see there's a yearly, there are droughts, very hot summer. Each summer, each July, they say in the news that it's the hottest July ever. So every year it's the hottest July ever. And there are a lot of winter floods. There's less rain, but when it comes very strong. You can see, let's say in Israel, the winter is during, let's say, December until March. You can see in February a very dry month, and suddenly one day with 150 millimeters in one city, and everything is flooded, and all the rivers are overflow. So you don't have to convince the people; they see it in their eyes. And also fires. KKL JNF is the main forester of Israel. So we manage all the forests in Israel. So we see it, we feel it day by day.
It's become part of the population psyche. There's no convincing.
Everyone knows it already.
Everyone knows it. Yechezkel, I want to ask you from between South Africa and Israel, what is the link like between our two countries? I'll leave this as a last question to you. What's the link between South Africa and Australia and, beg your pardon, Israel? Is it strong enough for our government to take this advice and do something with?
Well, what we can do is, again, sharing the experience, because Israel was facing the same problems that you're having here. Growing population, water scarcity, climate change. Climate change in the Middle East, where Israel is located, is very severe, maybe even severe than South Africa is facing. So I think experts from both sides can share their knowledge and experience. And also, of course, we can learn from your experience, your experts, because the challenges you're facing now can be our challenges in a few decades from today. So I think working together, collaborating, cooperating together, so Africa and Israel can bring us a better future, a better understanding the challenge, and better facing and handling this very severe problem of water scarcity.
I think what's so important to hear is that it's taken decades. All the infrastructure is there, the education is there, the expertise are there. It still took some time to get it right, but now you have wonderful lessons for us here in South Africa. To both of you, thank you very, very much for coming, and enjoy the rest of your stay.
Thank you.
I certainly hope we are wonderful hosts in our country and we can take something away from this. Thank you very much indeed to both of my guests this evening, Yechezkel Lifshitz from Israel's Water Authority, and also Dr. Yonatan Bar Yosef, ecologist and water expert. South Africa, it is not all hope is lost. There's just a lot of work that needs to be done, but luckily we have partners and experts in that journey with us.